Ruth Crawford was an American composer closely allied with a group of composers who called themselves Ultramodern. This group of composers was committed to what they called dissonant counterpoint. By that, they meant a style that emphasized the melodic line, often in counterpoint with other melodic lines, and everything based on the dissonant intervals. The piece we're going to look at now is a single melodic line written for flute or oboe. The term diaphonic in the title refers to the dissonant basis of the composition. The composer referred to this movement as a triple passacaglia, where the same melody is heard at 3 different levels of structure. The piece is based on a 7-note melody, which functions as a basic series for the piece. The melody is dissonant in Crawford's sense. Anytime you get a consonant interval, like a minor third or a perfect fourth, you can be sure that one or both of the adjacent notes will dissonate them. That is, will make sure that consonant triads are avoided. The first 3 notes, G, A, G sharp, are +2 - 1. That's an important motive in this piece and in lots of music by Crawford. We'll call it motive X. Even in this short 7-note melody, we can hear 2 echoes of that opening motive. First, the same chromatic trichord, although with different melodic intervals, can be heard in the lower register in the last 4 notes as B, C, C sharp. Second, we can hear motive X expanded in the +6 - 4 that spans B, C, F sharp. In the first 8 measures of the piece, that 7-note series is systematically rotated. The first measure presents the series in its original order. The 7 notes in measure 2 begin on the 2nd note of the series, and the first note moves to the end. Measure 3 continues the process. It begins on the 3rd note of the series and ends with the first 2 notes of the series. That process of rotation continues throughout the passage. In measure 8, after a full set of rotations, beginning in turn on each of the notes of the series, we get back to the original ordering starting on G. As a result, we are hearing the series within each measure and also from downbeat to downbeat. Remember the idea of a triple passacaglia? Well, we now see 2 of its levels. Here is a slowed down version of the passage with each downbeat accented. Now we come to the 3rd level of the triple passacaglia. Over the course of the movement as a whole, we hear 8 sets of rotations like the one we just discussed. The first set of rotations affects the original form of the series, which I've labeled P0. After that set of rotations is complete, the series is transposed up 2 semitones to P2, which begins on A, the 2nd note of the original series. Each section of the piece begins in turn on the notes of the original series, G, A flat, B, C, etc. The 8th set of rotations starts on G, back to the 1st note of the series. And then we get one additional statement of the original series in its 2nd rotation, now ending on G, which is as close to a tonic note for the piece as we are likely to get in such a dissonant arrangement. Here we see the whole triple passacaglia, the series within each measure, from downbeat to downbeat, and from section to section. Here's the whole movement. I've circled the first note of each section so you can see the series unfolding at that highest level. Notice that the end of each section is marked by heavy single, double, or triple bar lines. Let's listen to a recording. It goes by so fast and something of a blur, but I have augmented those circled notes electronically so you can hear the highest level. The piece goes by so fast that it is really hard to grasp its organization. Let me suggest two listening strategies. First, instead of trying to grasp the rotations directly, listen instead for motive X and its chromatic echo as they slide around within the measure. Here are just the first two sections. As a second listening strategy, just follow the melody as though it were an organism, a sort of amoeba creeping around in musical space. Here's a reduction of the first 5 sections of the piece where I've identified the lowest and highest pitches in each measure. Just listen for the journey of the series through pitch space. Usually, the organism begins in a middle register and works its way up to a high point, but not always.